I want to talk to you today about something incredibly powerful and transformative. How the whole universe will magically start working for you. You might think that sounds a little too good to be true, but I assure you, it's not. It's based on deep scientific principles and a profound understanding of how our minds and bodies work. I've traveled the world, interviewing countless people who faced serious health challenges. These were people battling diseases like cancer, MS, and Parkinson's. Many of them were undergoing various treatments, some conventional, some unconventional. Despite their efforts, they were either stuck in their conditions or getting worse. But then, something amazing happened. Some of them started to get better, and the common factor in their recovery wasn't a special diet or a particular medical procedure. It was their minds. I went back to school and studied neuroscience to understand this phenomenon better. What I discovered is that there are 4 key elements that these people shared, which led to their incredible recoveries. And this knowledge can be applied to manifesting any change in your life. So let's dive into these elements and explore how they can help you make the universe work in your favor. The first thing I discovered was that these individuals had a strong belief in an inner intelligence. This inner intelligence was like a special force or energy they felt was responsible for their existence and well-being. It's as if they believed there was something inside them that guided and supported their life. When they were diagnosed with serious illnesses, something changed. They felt like they had lost touch with this inner intelligence. The diagnosis made them feel separated from their true self. They might have felt alone, as if the illness had cut them off from the very essence of who they were. But here's where things took a turn. In their moments of crisis, they made a powerful decision. They decided to reconnect with this inner intelligence. They believed that by realigning themselves with this inner force, they could find healing. It was like they were trying to get back in touch with the source of their strength and health. This decision was crucial. They understood that their inner intelligence wasn't just a vague concept, but something real and important. They thought that if they could get back in harmony with this force, their bodies and minds could start to heal. Their approach was not just about accepting the diagnosis and waiting for things to get better. Instead, they took active steps to realign themselves with this inner intelligence. They might have used meditation, positive thinking, or other practices to help them feel connected again. They believed that this connection was vital for their recovery. And here's the remarkable part. Many of these individuals actually did start to heal. It wasn't just a hopeful idea, it worked for a lot of them. Their belief in this inner intelligence and their efforts to reconnect with it played a big role in their recovery. So, what does this tell us? It shows that believing in a higher intelligence within ourselves can have a powerful impact on our health and well-being. When people feel disconnected from their true essence, they might struggle with their health. But by making an effort to reconnect with that inner force, they can find a new path to healing. This belief isn't just about hoping for the best. It's about actively working to align yourself with what you believe is a powerful guiding force within you. It involves a sense of trust and faith that there is something within you that can help you overcome challenges and restore your health. The second crucial element I discovered is the role of emotions and stress. Stress is when your brain and body are knocked out of balance. Normally, our bodies can handle short bursts of stress. For example, if someone cuts you off in traffic, you might feel a rush of anger. But after a few minutes, you return to your normal state. This is how it's supposed to work. However, when stress is ongoing, when it's all day, all week, all year, your body remains in a constant state of emergency. This prolonged stress is harmful. It disrupts your body's natural ability to return to balance. And what's worse, you can trigger stress responses simply by thinking about your problems. Your brain doesn't know the difference between an actual threat and a perceived one. People can become addicted to the rush of energy that stress provides. They create problems in their lives, bad jobs, poor relationships, to get that adrenaline rush. This addiction to stress and negative emotions keeps them stuck in a loop of dissatisfaction and illness. The key here is to understand how mismanaged emotions and stress contribute to your problems. If you want the universe to work for you, you need to manage your emotions and reduce your stress. It's about breaking free from the habit of reacting to stressors and instead choosing to stay calm and centered. The third element of creating change involves transforming your relationship with your environment. This is an important step because many people let their surroundings control their emotions and thoughts. This means that they react to what's happening around them rather than controlling their own responses. When your environment dictates how you think and feel, you're letting external factors shape your inner world. For example, if you're at work and your boss gives you a tough time, you might feel frustrated or stressed. If you allow these feelings to take over, your mood can be negatively affected. You might even carry these emotions home with you, letting them affect your personal life. When this happens often, you start reacting emotionally to every little thing around you. This constant reaction keeps you in a loop where your surroundings dictate your feelings. This habit can make it difficult to move forward or create a new future for yourself. If you're always responding to your environment, you're not taking control of your own life. Instead, you're letting past experiences and current circumstances shape how you feel and act. This makes it hard to make positive changes or pursue new goals. Changing your relationship with your environment means learning to respond to situations in a more controlled and thoughtful way. Instead of letting your environment dictate your emotions, you can learn to manage your responses. This shift allows you to break free from the past and focus on creating a new future. To start, become aware of how your environment affects you. Notice when you're reacting emotionally to something happening around you. For instance, if you get upset when someone cuts you off in traffic, take a moment to reflect. Are you letting this situation control your mood? How does this reaction affect your day? Once you're aware of how your environment influences your emotions, practice taking control of your responses. Instead of reacting immediately, take a deep breath and give yourself a moment to think. Ask yourself if this situation is worth letting it affect your mood. Often you'll find that it's not. By taking a step back, you can choose how to respond more calmly and rationally. To make the universe work for you, you must be greater than your environment. This means not letting external circumstances dictate your internal state. When you find yourself reacting emotionally to something, pause and ask yourself if you're letting your environment control you. Take a deep breath, center yourself, and choose to respond differently. This practice helps you stay aligned with your inner intelligence and prevents you from falling back into old patterns. The fourth and final element of creating change is the power of mental rehearsal. This concept comes from the field of neuroscience and involves using your mind to create new experiences. It's more than just simple visualization. It's about actively rehearsing mental images of what you want to achieve. There are two main forms of mental rehearsal, internal and external. Let's start with internal mental rehearsal. This is where you imagine yourself in the scene, experiencing it as if it's happening right now. For example, if you want to be a successful public speaker, you would close your eyes and picture yourself standing on stage, speaking confidently to an audience. You would try to experience the moment as vividly as possible. Imagine the lights, hear the applause, and feel the excitement. This type of mental rehearsal helps you immerse yourself in the experience. It's like you're actually living it in your mind. When you engage in internal mental rehearsal, you are creating a detailed mental image of your goal. The more realistic and vivid your imagination, the more powerful the rehearsal becomes. Your brain starts to treat these imagined experiences as if they are real. This can help you become more prepared and confident when you actually face the real situation. Now let's talk about external mental rehearsal. This is when you observe yourself in the scene from an outside perspective. Instead of seeing things from your own eyes, you picture yourself as if you are watching a video of your performance. For instance, if you're preparing for a big job interview, you might imagine yourself sitting in the interview room, but from a third-person view. You see yourself answering questions confidently and interacting positively with the interviewer. External mental rehearsal allows you to see how you perform from a different angle. It can help you analyze your actions and make adjustments if needed. By watching yourself in the scene, you can notice areas for improvement and refine your approach. This type of rehearsal helps you to mentally prepare for the experience by giving you a broader perspective. Both forms of mental rehearsal are important and can be used together. Internal rehearsal helps you experience the emotions and sensations of achieving your goal. External rehearsal provides you with a chance to observe and evaluate your performance from an outside perspective. Together, they create a comprehensive mental practice that prepares you for real-life situations. The power of mental rehearsal is backed by neuroscience. Studies show that when you mentally practice something, your brain activates the same neural pathways as if you were actually performing the activity. This means that your brain doesn't always distinguish between real experiences and imagined ones. The more you practice mentally, the more your brain becomes accustomed to the experience. This can lead to improved performance in real-life situations. To use mental rehearsal effectively, set aside some quiet time each day. Find a comfortable place where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes and start with internal mental rehearsal. Visualize yourself achieving your goal, experiencing it in vivid detail. Engage all your senses. See the scene, hear the sounds, and feel the emotions. Spend a few minutes in this mental practice. Studies show that when you mentally rehearse an activity, your brain creates new neural connections as if you were physically performing the activity. For example, if you practice playing a musical instrument or lifting weights in your mind, your brain and body start to respond as if you've been physically practicing. This is incredibly powerful. When you focus your mind on a new experience or outcome, your brain and body begin to align with that new reality. This means that you don't have to wait for external circumstances to change. By changing your internal state, you can shift your reality. First, you need to clearly define what you want to achieve. This means knowing exactly what your goal is. For instance, if you want a new job, think about what kind of job it is, what it looks like, and how it feels to be in that role. Be specific. The clearer you are about what you want, the easier it will be for your mind to focus on it. Next, start visualizing your goal in vivid detail. Visualization is like creating a mental picture of your desired outcome. Imagine yourself already in the situation you want. For example, if your goal is to have a successful career, picture yourself in the job you want. See every detail, your workspace, the people you work with, the tasks you do, and even the clothes you wear. The more detailed your mental picture, the better. Engage all your senses while you visualize. Imagine what you would see, hear, smell, touch, and even taste in this new reality. If you're visualizing your dream job, hear the sounds of your office, see the files on your desk, smell the coffee brewing in the break room, and feel the texture of your new chair. This full sensory experience makes the visualization more real and powerful. Feel the emotions associated with achieving your goal. Emotions are a crucial part of mental rehearsal. If you achieve your goal, how will you feel? Happy, excited, proud? Connect with these emotions during your visualization. Feel the joy and satisfaction of reaching your goal. The stronger the emotions, the more impactful the visualization will be. Imagine yourself living that reality every day. Make it a habit to spend a few minutes each day visualizing your goal. The more you practice this mental rehearsal, the more natural it will become. It's like training your brain and body to get used to your new reality. Over time, this practice will help you stay focused on your goal and keep you motivated. The reason mental rehearsal works is that it helps align your brain and body with the new reality you're creating. When you repeatedly visualize your goal, your brain starts to believe that this new reality is possible. This can influence your actions and decisions in real life. For example, if you consistently visualize yourself in your dream job, you may start to notice opportunities and take actions that bring you closer to that job. As you practice mental rehearsal, you're also training your brain to recognize and seize opportunities that match your goals. Your brain begins to notice things you might have overlooked before. This increased awareness can lead to new actions and choices that help you move toward your goal. The universe responds to your internal state. When you are aligned with your desires and connected to your inner intelligence, you become a powerful magnet for the changes you want to see. Your thoughts and emotions shape your reality, and by managing them effectively, you can create the life you want. The power to transform your life is within you. The universe is always working to bring you what you desire, but you must be aligned with it. So then, most people then create a state of being that's connected to their past. And if they're in the familiar past, then they are going to crave the predictable future, and they're going to fall back into routine. So then, we want people then to get very clear on that vision of their future, however they do it, and begin to combine that clear intention with an elevated emotion. And the stronger the emotion they feel from the vision they're creating, the more altered they feel inside of them, the more they're going to pay attention to the pictures in their mind. And now they're remembering their future. And biologically, it's exactly the same as remembering your past. In fact, if you're not being defined by a vision of the future, it means you're making your past more real than your future. So how many people in this audience have a clear vision of their future? You see, you think 60 to 70,000 thoughts in one day. Out of those 60 to 70,000 thoughts that you think in one day, 90% of those thoughts are the same thoughts as the day before. So if you believe that your thoughts somehow are connected to your life, then the same thoughts always lead to the same choices. The same choices always lead to the same behaviors. The same behaviors create the same experiences, and the same experiences produce the same emotions. And those very same emotions drive the very same thoughts. And your biology, your neurocircuitry, your neurochemistry, your neurohormones, and even your genetic expression is equal to how you think, how you act, and how you feel. And how you think, how you act, and how you feel is called your personality. And your personality creates your personal reality. That's it. So then, if you wanted to create a new personal reality, a new life, then you would have to start thinking about what you've been thinking about and change it. You would have to become aware of your unconscious thoughts and observe them. You would have to pay attention to your automatic habits and behaviors and modify them. And you would have to look at the emotions you live by every single day that are connected to your past and decide if those emotions belong in your future. You see, most people try to create a new personal reality as the same personality, and it doesn't work. You literally have to become someone else. And you are here this week to learn vital information about creating a future and be defined by a vision of the future instead of the memories of the past. Because if you are not defined by some vision that is bigger than you, and you are not passionate about that vision, then you are left with the old hardware of the past in your brain, and you will be predictable in your life. So would you agree then? New thoughts, new information should lead to new choices. New choices should lead to new behaviors. And new behaviors should create new experiences. And new experiences should produce new emotions. And those new emotions should drive new thoughts. And that's called evolution. So if your brain is a record of the past and you don't have a vision of the future, then you are living in the past. And you will never arrive at that new future. Now there's another potential for you to exist free from the chains of the old self. That potential exists right now. And I want you to teach your body emotionally what it would feel like so that it begins to believe it's in the actual experience of freedom. Let your body feel freedom so that it thinks it's in the experience. And I want you to sit in your body emotionally to feel the joy of how you would feel. So the body begins to be in a future potential now, emotionally. And there's a potential for you to have all your needs met and be wealthy. And I want you to instruct your body to experience wealth and the joy of riches ahead of the actual events, so your body thinks it's in the experience. If you feel it, your body thinks it's in the experience. It doesn't know the difference. Now there's a potential in the field for a genius mind, quicksilver thoughts, insights that take you to new horizons. And the electricity that's created from an open mind, teach your body emotionally the joy and the inspiration of what that would feel like, so the body begins to experience your genius and think that it's in the event now. And there's a possibility existing simultaneously in the quantum field of the vitality of a new life, rich with opportunity, an awe for adventure, and a sense of unbelievability where you feel like you're in a dream. There's a potential in the quantum field that all your prayers are answered, that possibility finds you, that its prayers are being answered. Being inspired means to see a future without obstacles, to see a potential without sweating the details, to know that you're connected to a new reality. Lift yourself up and memorize this feeling of possibility, to be open to the expectation of the unknown. When you get to the top, now you hold your breath. And when you hold your breath, you contract those intrinsic muscles, and you begin to lift those muscles up, and you begin to compress those muscles, and you begin to push that cerebral spinal fluid up into your brain. So then why do I ask you to inhale and hold your breath? Now this isn't inhaling and turning purple and pushing. If you're doing that, you're doing it wrong. It's a slow, steady breath, and you follow that breath all the way to the top, either to the top of your head, or you put your awareness on where that pineal gland is between the back of your throat and the back of your head. Now, when you inhale, that inhalation is very slow and very steady. It's not a big inhalation and pushing. It's a slow, steady breath, and you're contracting these muscles and coordinating it, and you're following your breath all the way to the top of your head. And when you get to the top of your head, I'm going to ask you to inhale a little bit more, and as you pull up, you're going to lock these muscles down even further, and you're lifting them up. Once you lift them up and you have your attention either on the top of your head or the space that your pineal gland occupies in space, I'm going to ask you to lock those muscles down and pump, squeeze, or push. And I want you to push that fluid up into your brain by squeezing the muscles. Not by holding your breath harder, but by squeezing those muscles. I want you to begin to pump that fluid and begin to compress up against your pineal gland. When you do this breath, you have to demonstrate a will that's greater than any program. You have to find a level of intensity or a level of passion that's greater than the body as the mind, or any addiction to any emotion. You have to be inspiration, the movement of energy. Don't be afraid of it. Just surrender into it. For some people, their body will do unusual things. That's information trying to be integrated into it. Don't be afraid of it. Just surrender into it. If your body does weird things, more than likely that's energy moving to your brain. If you have a lapse of consciousness, or you all of a sudden find yourself on the ground, that's energy moving into your brain. It's happened to me numerous times. It's a sign that you're getting close, or at least doing it correctly. Now, where you place your attention is where you place your energy. So you want that energy to move right to the top of your head. Inspiration, the movement of energy. You have to find a level of intensity or a level of passion that's greater than the body as the mind, or any addiction to any emotion. Don't be afraid of it. Just surrender into it. On a Sunday morning, while she was in the shower, her husband said goodbye to his 2 children, yelled something to her while she was in the shower, and then went to the tallest building in Amsterdam and jumped off the building and committed suicide. Now that is a stressful event. And when she got the news, she experienced all the emotions that people experience from something that's shocking and traumatic like that. She was suffering, she was in pain, she was resentful, she was guilty, she was confused, she was angry. She went through the whole gamut of emotions, and all of those emotions, by the way, are derived from the hormones of stress. So she has an event in her life. It changes her biologically. She doesn't know how to control her emotional reaction. It turns into a mood, one long emotional reaction. If you keep reviewing that event in your mind, you begin to produce the same chemistry in your brain and body as if the event was occurring. So her body is being conditioned to the past because she's reliving the experience 50 to 100 times in a day, and her body is beginning to believe it's in the same past experience over and over again. It ultimately goes from a mood to a temperament, and now people are asking her in her life, why are you so upset? She tells the story, and she's basically saying, I am this way because of this event that happened to me 4 months ago. So then if we keep that going for extended periods of time and those emotions are driving our thoughts and we can't think greater than how we feel, our feelings have become the means of thinking. We're thinking in the past, and now we're stuck in our biology. So one day she wakes up and she's completely paralyzed from her waist down, and she can't get out of bed, so they rush her to the hospital. They do MRIs, they do all the tests. They can't find anything significant with her, so they just diagnose her with neuritis. And so now she's bedridden, and she cannot literally get out of bed. So now she can't work, she can't take care of her children. Her mother has to move in with her, and she doesn't have any money because she's not working, and her stress levels go up. So now the condition gets worse. As her stress levels go up, it's the same chemicals of stress that are knocking the brain and body out of balance, signaling the wrong genes in the wrong way. And another few months later, she develops these huge ulcerations in all the mucous membranes of her body, in her mouth, her throat, her upper stomach, her bladder, her vagina, her anus. She's got these huge ulcers. Now she can't eat, and if she can't eat, she's knocking her body now out of chemical balance even more, and it hurts. So now she's spiraling downward, and then she finally starts noticing her symptoms getting worse, and she goes to the doctor, and they diagnose her with esophageal cancer. Now, the moment she gets the diagnosis of esophageal cancer, now she gets even more stressed, and she's in fear now, and she realizes that her children may not have a mom. And so she came to one of our workshops, and I remember specifically because she came in with crutches and a wheelchair and a walker, and she sat on the left side of the room. And it was an introductory level course, and she understood that she could change it intellectually, but she had a very big challenge ahead of her, and she realized how much she was in her past. She had a vision of her future. Like she wasn't visualizing anything, she just got a very clear vision, and she was so excited that she went home and she did her meditation every single day. Now she understood that she had to upregulate new genes and downregulate genes that had to do with her disease, and that every day she had to knock on the genetic door. Now, the first thing I want to say is that I'm certain that there were days that she didn't feel like doing her meditation, and she did that anyway. She did it anyway. There were days where she had a tremendous amount of doubt, and she didn't think it was possible, but she did her meditations every single day. That's the point. So as people start getting through this and they start having very profound moments, and they're now opening their heart and they can sustain heart coherence and they know how to create brain coherence, that's the formula. And now they have a laser. They have coherent light and information that can read information that exists beyond the senses. And the pineal gland, once activated, will transduce it into profound imagery. Whether you see with your eyes open or your eyes closed, it doesn't matter because it's more real than anything you've ever experienced. Let's have a small pause here. It's the next part. Dr. Zhou is going to talk about his research about the 4 states of matter. Listen carefully. This is very important. And so I started researching, and I found that there's 4 states of matter. There's solids, there's liquids, there's gases, and the biggest, most abundant form of matter, what's called plasma. And plasma is when you have a negative charge and a positive charge, and they haven't formed an atom yet. So if you have a negative charge and a positive charge, then you're going to have an electrical current running between the two and a field around that current. And the universe really, stars connect through plasma. Everything connects through plasma. So when you start seeing these complex patterns, it's an impression from that plasma that's being pressed into 3-dimensional reality. And so if you take 3 stones, right, and you drop them at the same time into a plate, and you freeze the water in the plate, and those 3 stones fall, and they start producing concentric rings, and they start interfering with each other, you're starting to get complex pattern of interference. If you take a light and you shine it through that frozen piece of matter, when you shine the light through it, when the light shines through it, the laser shines through it, you will see the appearance, a hologram of those 3 stones projected out into space. That's exactly how reality is. So then reality then is a projection, right? And so then when you study matter, it's not matter that's emitting a field. It's actually those complex patterns that are creating matter. So then you don't change the tumor. The tumor is the effect of the pattern in the field. Change the field, you change matter. So teaching people how to do that when they change the pattern in the field and it starts to appear as change in 3-dimensional reality, the illusion is everybody's been trying to change matter.